Hello guys, it's D to the B here. So originally this topic was going to be a community post explaining how I thought the concept that Disney introduced recently was pretty stupid, and this just proves the incompetency of Disney Star Wars. But then I realized, after more details I got after researching the topic a bit more, I realized this is probably going to be a very long community post, so I might as well just do a video on this topic. The topic of Sister from Star Wars, the new Clone Trooper book that is coming out, which apparently is being told in the story by the perspective of Captain Rex. And one of the characters in this is Sister, a trans clone trooper who participated in the war, in the Clone Wars specifically, like early on in the Clone Wars. Like, there's a couple things. When I first saw the picture of Sister, I'm like, oh, this is just a dumb fan art that somebody made on the internet. Like, oh my gosh, look at this trans clone trooper right here that I made on the internet, and all the shills would be like, oh wow, so cool, this is yummy, oh yum 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 yum, eat, consume, blah 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 blah. You know, typical Disney shill stuff. They basically are, most of them are bought and paid for, like Star Wars Explained, Fake News Kyle Katarn, and so on and so forth of the Disney shills. But then I saw a bunch of videos talking about this, and wait, this is actually canon. I mean, I know Disney Star Wars has been an absolute train wreck since Disney bought the rights from George Lucas back in 2012, but I didn't think you would hit this low. Granted, I should have known better, because they did the same thing in Tales of the Empire, where they shoved a Jedi that uses the pronouns they and them in the episode. I should have known better. And also, they do another they-them character in The Acolyte, which that show is the best example of why Disney Star Wars is absolute trash. And there is way more to get into, but I would like to give my co-host L to the C some speaking lines, if you know what I mean.
Oh boy, where do I begin? Why is this character even made?
You could ask that about a lot of Disney Star Wars characters.
Oh, you mean like Rey?
Rey, Reva, the twins from The Acolyte, just so on and so forth.
Why can't they just make characters that are good?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't just have a character and say, alright, this character is a male, he's good.
Oh, hey, you're gonna love the passage from the book. This is like an actual direct quote that I'm going to read in a bit that's from the actual book that's coming out itself. So, oh boy.
I don't know, I think L to the C is about to explode.
Oh yeah.
Not really explode, but
But yeah, I'm going to get more into detail, then I'm also going to read the passage and then explain why this does not work for the lore.
Okay. For me, this is complete crap.
It is. I am completely with you on that. It is crap. It's extreme crap.
I don't like this character.
Nobody likes this character.
And you said this is in a book, correct?
Yes, it's in part of the Disney expanded universe.
And you're probably wondering, oh, L to the C, how do you know about this? Well, I know about this because I am subscribed to one of my favorite YouTubers, Drunk3PO.
And I'm subscribed to a bunch of YouTubers, which funny enough includes Drunk 3PO, Arcade Outpost, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers. Yes, all those channels. You're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, they're toxic males. They must be destroyed. Their word must be not taken. And I have to say, shut up, crybaby, and let the man cook.
Oh, our words will be taken.
Yes, they will be taken. Because the same things that we say for the most part is how the majority of the fan base of Star Wars feels. Unlike your side, where it is a very small, loud, tiny little minority.
And you wonder why Disney's losing money. You wonder why the fans are so divided.
Like, to the point of a civil war. No, I am not kidding. I will get more into that later on in the video.
I have not watched Drunk 3PO's video on this yet.
I did. It was so funny. I loved it.
I grew up watching Star Wars. I loved the Clone Wars. I also like the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that movie. I think it's overhated.
Well, guess what? These comics that Disney's coming out with,
Comics, novels, all that stuff. Even your behind the scene books, especially that Rise of Skywalker one, which answers no questions about the sequel trilogy.
I will not be reading those stupid comics, those novels, or anything Disney related. If I want good Star Wars, I will watch the original before Disney bought them.
Yep.
I will read the Legends books.
Yeah. I'd say also I would also watch Rogue One. It's like the only good Disney Star Wars movie. Disney.
Dude, I've seen that quite a few times already.
Yeah, I love Rogue One.
And if you want a good Star Wars movie, the only one is Rogue One.
Yep. Rogue One, and then Dave Filoni stuff until like Ahsoka and Tales of the Empire is fine. After that. And
do not get me started on Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka's really bad. I have a video on it. You should go watch it after this one.
But anyway, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, D2B. When Disney bought Star Wars, I'm like, alright, they're gonna, improve it. I was watching the ones with Rey. Yes, that's right. Daisy Ridley. And yes, I'm not a fan of the sequels.
Yeah, no. I used to be a fan of The Force Awakens when it came out. Last Jedi, I was a fan for a bit until I started doing more research and more thinking, where I'm like, no, this movie's awful. Then I straight up hated The Rise of Skywalker. Like, I didn't even get to the stage like, wow, this is cool, and then going like, oh, this is garbage. No, it's just like, I hate this movie. Because at that point, I realized the damage Disney did to the franchise, and knowing there was no return.
And what I'm hearing about this new clone trooper that's apparently coming, or has already been made already.
Yeah, it's an upcoming book, which we have the official art of.
I don't think there's any clone trooper that is...
That, yeah. I mean, in Disney canon there is, but if you actually think of George Lucas canon, then definitely not. Which I will be getting more into. I think it's my turn to explore a bit more.
George Lucas, your creation is going down the drain. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy. Thanks, Bob Iger. And thank you, Disney, for ruining one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
D2B,
Yep.
video is all yours, my friend.
I'll take over and bring some more light into this. So we got more. We also have more details about this character. Originally, I thought the character of Sister would have come like after the events of Order 66, and Sister betrayed the Empire because of the views being so different, because we must praise the brave and stunning new character that Disney has created for us. We must consume it because it is the best. No, it turns out that this character was around during the early days of the frickin' Clone Wars. Like, to the point where Anakin Skywalker is a Padawan, which I have a passage from the book that was leaked on the internet, or shown on the internet, for this detail.
I thought only clone troopers could be men.
Yes, that is true. And that's something that also the Bad Batch unfortunately did with the character of Omega by changing her chromosomes to, I believe it's X? XX for female, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be wrong. I'll look it up later. But anyway, I'm going to read the passage from the book. And also, this clone trooper served under the command of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Padawan Anakin. What's your name, trooper? Sister! It's how my brothers tell everyone I belong. Belonging is important, Anakin said. He knew that better than most. I was afraid before I left Camino, Sister said. We don't really know what happens to unusual clones. In Legends, they kill them. Like, a defect clone, they would kill them because they want the clones to be the strongest soldiers possible. So, if you were in Legends canon, you'd be dead.
Lights out.
Let's continue on. But my brothers never let me doubt. I was sure if the Jedi would understand. The Jedi are all about transcending things, Anakin said. I don't think we can complain if you've transcended genders. Transcended gender? Well, work on it, but I like where it's heading. And I'm Anakin and I hate sand. I'm sorry, I know that joke is played to death, but I had to do it. Oh boy!
I don't like where this is heading.
No, I don't either. So now knowing all those details that I gave you and that passage from the book itself, oh boy, we have a lot to say.
I got one thing to say. Who wrote this book?
I forget her name, but she's been with Disney for a while. But anyway, I'm going to explain in a lore aspect why this is unbelievably stupid.
Not just unbelievably stupid, very stupid.
Okay. So, first of all, the era of Star Wars that the prequels were created was way before all of this political nonsense. When stories mattered, telling good stories, good characters, and making the world a place where you can escape from the real world. But there's more to this that kind of breaks canon a lot.
The movies back then were meant to be an escape from the real world.
Right.
For me, it's like, if I'm having a stress day or something like that, movies would be my escape from the stuff I was struggling with, If I was in a bad mood, the movies would help me laugh and stuff like that. Well, guess what? The movies nowadays barely make me laugh.
Right. But now I'm going to get into a canon aspect of where this is wrong. So, in the era of the Clone Wars, the clones were designed to be these elite soldiers that are more quantity over quality, unlike the Separatist droids. They were meant to be the most best military force in the galaxy. They were bred from a lab on a planet that rains a lot by pencil neck aliens. And in Legends, they were taught to follow the orders of the Supreme Chancellor, or the Chancellor at the time. The goal was to fight the enemy and protect the Republic, and also follow the direct orders of the Chancellor, especially when it came to Order 66. The clone troopers cared about war. The Kaminoans created these soldiers to help the Jedi. And it seems weird for a clone trooper to be worrying about pronouns and how they identify, because their main objective is war, to protect the Republic, to protect the Chancellor, to fight alongside with the Jedi. That's all that mattered to them. And since that was all that mattered to them, that's what led into Order 66. Like, there is so much wrong with this concept. Where in the heck would a character like Sister even exist? Like, wasn't the point of Omega supposed to be like the first female clone? Like, what is this nonsense? It's another example of Disney contradicting itself, and also this is an example of Disney more focusing on diversity instead of good storytelling, keeping the canon consistent, and so much more. And also, especially really early on in the Republic, where Anakin hasn't been granted the rank of Jedi Knight yet. I was gonna say Master, but he was not worthy to be a Master. And especially the stage of Anakin where he is young, naive, and recently killed a village full of Tusken Raiders, and lost his arm because of his moodiness. This just seems out of place for Star Wars, and especially since the prequels were created back in 1999 to 2005. This fits nowhere in the canon at all. What they have done is just shoehorned this messaging in for profit to get those people to buy their books, even though we all know it, unless if you're a blind Disney shill who can't see the truth, that people who identify like that don't even care about Star Wars. Most of them don't. They're either just normies, like Star Wars is dumb, or they're a Star Wars fan who became a shill and are bought and paid for. Now, I'm not saying every single fan of Disney Star Wars is a shill. I know a few people who like Disney Star Wars that aren't shills, and I guess they're fine. I know some. They're not bad people whatsoever. But most of them are shills. And there is evidence to this point. Like, Star Wars Explain, Fake News Kyle Katarn, and all the Disney Star Wars fan YouTubers, They are all bought and paid for. There is video evidence of Disney bringing them to Lucasfilm to watch the premiere of The Acolyte, an early on-screen access of The Acolyte, and I could see someone like, but they want to hear perspective of the fans. Oh, really? Really? How come people like Drunk 3PO, Geeks and Gamers, me, how come we haven't seen... How come Lucasfilm doesn't pay for our flights to go see your product so we can critique you? It's a simple answer. They don't want to hear it from us because they know that we know better than Disney.
What about me?
Oh yeah, you too. Like, they are clearly cherry picking to make it seem as good as it can so they can convince people to go see their garbage products. Unfortunately for them, people have actually been starting to catch on that some of the people that they bring on are complete frauds. When it came more to The Acolyte, which I'm going to get into this right now, especially when The Acolyte got canceled for poor ratings and the series being way too expensive to produce a season 2, people like Molly Damon and Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained set out a campaign on Twitter and messaged YouTube's Twitter account to demonetize these following channels for exposing the heck out of The Acolyte, which got it canceled. Geeks and Gamers, RK Outpost, Star Wars Theory. They did that to try to ruin their livelihood because they think they can continue on with their power to keep Disney Star Wars alive by basically taking away and silencing their opponents. Did that go well for them? No. And it's just so obvious now. And people are clearly sick of it. Like, people are realizing how much of a clown these people are. Like, Disney is losing money. Recently, Star Wars Explained has been bleeding subscribers, which, after trying to take the livelihood of other YouTubers, especially the other YouTubers that use their YouTube money for their families, they deserve it. Star Wars Explained deserves to lose as many subs as possible, and it gets worse as it goes on. Now, who knows, I'll probably do a more deeper dive into this whole Civil War thing, or maybe this will just do for now, but it proves that Disney Star Wars had no plan. They only care about agendas and appealing to people that aren't Star Wars fans. And, like, I get trying to widen the Star Wars fan base, but when you're trying to push your old fans away and try to get new fans, it is despicable, because the only way you are getting Star Wars fans to go on Future Force, because I know the original Star Wars fan base isn't going to last that long, is through us. Because with children that these fans have or going to have in the future are the ones who are going to introduce them to said franchise, and the franchise lives on and on as it goes. But no, you threw that out the window. And it's mostly going to be the George Lucas era. No one, I'd say like 50 years later, is going to care about Disney's Star Wars. It'll just be that era that nobody wants to remember and will eventually forget about. Where we go like, wait, that was a movie? But before we go, LSC would like to say some things.
I don't care about Star Wars now, Disney Star Wars, And I know Lucasfilm and Disney, they will never listen to us.
Right.
I'm a very big supporter of D. Libby. I'm a very big supporter of Drunk 3PO. And there's a lot of fact in here. There's a lot of truth in all this. Okay, it's good to have, get new fans, right?
Yes.
But it's also good to have the old fans with you. And to me, I'm an old school Star Wars fan. And I feel like they're pushing us away. Like, I feel like we're in the back of a corner.
Yes, they're pushing us away. They expect us to consume their garbage products, but we're not going to because we know better what Star Wars is supposed to be. Stop making Star Wars too much like the real world. Like, gosh darn it, Sister's armor is literally the trans flag on the same colors on the armor of the character. There aren't no trans flags in Star Wars. That's stupid. And I know I'm going to probably get hate for that, but I don't care. I got the same hate for Nightshade. I can take 'em on!
May the Force be with you. You're going to need it.
But yeah, I might have went extreme in this video, but at the same time I didn't. I just felt so much rage, and I feel like a community post was not gonna be enough to express this rage. Because I cared about this franchise too much, and Disney has destroyed it beyond repair. And the only way to save Star Wars is new leadership. I would say even sell it to a different company at this point.
Who would they sell it to anyway?
I don't know. I would have said Century Fox since they helped with the original trilogy, but Disney owns them too. So who knows? But we know that's not going to happen. They're going to keep Star Wars as long as they can. They'll probably sell it when Star Wars has lost so many fans where it's like worth 10 cents. But I don't know. It's a mess right now. And I'm just so sick of how Disney Star Wars has been going.
They fired Gina Carano over having an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got this monstrosity.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Star Wars can go down the garbage.
Yeah. It is. Until we have new leadership, it is basically dead at this point.
Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. I want someone completely new and someone that can bring this franchise back on top.
I'm going to even say it. I want a full clean house of Lucasfilm.
Oh, me too.
Everyone needs to go.
Yeah, everyone.
Even the fan favorites like Dave Filoni. They need to go.
We need,
Jon Favreau, gone. Dave Filoni, gone. Kathleen Kennedy, gone. All of them, gone.
We need complete clean out of Lucasfilm. Bring someone that has a vision, like something that, ooh, I want this, I want that, something that can bring Star Wars back on top. Because where this is heading right now, I am a Gina Carano fan. I am an old school Star Wars fan. And Disney?
Mm-mm.
No. I am really, really, really disappointed in you.
Yes. But I'd say that's all we have to say. So, how do you feel about this topic? Another example of Disney's incompetence of caring more about the real world than a galaxy far, far away. Do you like it for some reason, like a loon? Do you think it's utter nonsense, like me? Or are you between? Tell me in the comments.
I think it's utter nonsense.
Yeah, same here. And have a nice day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.